Hey guys, so a few days ago, like 3 days ago, I went to the drive-in and saw a double feature at the drive-in. Um, this is, of course, a few days late. I apologize. I've been very, very busy person, working a lot, and pretty much haven't had a day off in since I went to the drive-in, and I hadn't had a chance to do these reviews. I just have been so damn busy. Um, I apologize in advance if there's anything I forget, which I'm sure I won't because one movie in particular I won't forget about. But I have a feeling we won't. There won't be any problems. But let's get right into it. The first movie I saw was the new big movie last week, Alien Covenant. Although it didn't really do well. This was a movie that I was generally looking forward to because I'm a huge fan of the Alien franchise. I've always been a big fan of the Alien franchise, and I from the trailers of this, I was definitely intrigued. It looked like it would be a lot of like a return to form to for the Alien franchise. Hell, I still like Prometheus. I know a lot of people didn't like Prometheus. I like Prometheus. Does it have problems? Yes, it does. But is it that bad? No, it isn't. So I was like, all right. As like it looks like this could be a lot of fun of a film. Like I said, I love the Alien franchise, and love almost every movie of them, even some of the bad ones. Um, but before I went to see this movie, while the reviews were coming in, the reviews have been very, very good and everything. 70 something percent on Rotten Tomatoes and everything. Uh, I was told in advance by a few people that had seen it before I had that they were highly disappointed by this movie to the point that a lot of people were hating on this movie. I'm like, oh boy, like that worried me. A lot of people that I trust their opinion on, they have a lot of the same opinion on movies as I do. So I'm like, oh boy, and they're big fans of the Alien franchise, and I was worried. I'm not gonna lie to you. This movie I wrote on Facebook. This was one of the most frustratingly disappointing movies I've seen all fucking year. This movie kind of fucking pissed me off. Like I have never. I'm trying to think of. I put on Facebook. Get ready, people, for a rant because this is going to be a rant. This movie wasn't very good at all. Anybody who tells me, I've heard of reviews from critics that have said that this is a big improvement step up from Prometheus. I say fuck you. Prometheus was better. It was a way better film than this. This in a lot of ways was a piece of shit. I wouldn't say it's hard. Like it's kind of like my anger has subsided over the last few days. When I saw this movie, I was pissed. I was really, really pissed. But some of the anger is still fresh in me. There is things I can say positively about this movie, though. I will say that right now. Michael Fassbender is fantastic in this movie. He is the only three-dimensional character in this fucking film. The only character has an interesting story arc. And again, he's like playing a fucking android. That should say something about your film when the android is the most three-dimensional character in this film. He is fantastic. His performance is. I honestly was rooting for his character more than any of the human characters in this film, and that's not what you're supposed to be doing. Spoiler alert. I'll just say that right now. Honestly, I was because he was a character I actually gave a shit about. And I understood his motivations. I understood where he was coming from. I understood... Michael Fassbender is one of my favorite actors, honestly. And he's fantastic in this movie. He was fantastic in Prometheus, and he's fantastic in this. Honestly, I think he's better in this than he was in Prometheus, honestly. To be fair. I haven't seen Prometheus in a while, so I'm just going off memory. This movie also is fucking well made. It's Ridley Scott. Say what you will about some of his movies, especially this one. He can make a very competently made movie. And he does in this. It's no shock. It's very visually well made. The effects, some of the effects are pretty good. Some of them not so much. Because, like, the alien effects are all CGI. And you can tell in some parts, especially that there's, spoiler alert, like chest bursters and stuff. And it looks not that good compared to, like, the original 1970 version. Which should say something about practical effects over CGI. It's a really well made film, but, and like I said, Michael Fassbender and all them, everybody's really good, but this movie has one fatal flaw, one major fatal flaw I could not look over or overlook whatsoever. I don't know how anybody did, and I still know why. This is one of those movies I go, how is this getting as well received as it is? Like, I can only compare this to, like, Indiana Jones and Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. That got good reviews by critics, but got horribly received by fans. This is seeming like it's going in that direction, too. The fatal flaw of this fucking movie is that it's plain and fucking simple. This movie features some of the most retarded, stupidest characters I have ever seen put on a sci-fi film or any film in general in 28 years. These characters are fucking morons. Like, why can we not at all get some competent characters in these fucking alien, and like every time you have a movie like this where characters are in space and stuff goes down, why do we constantly get really stupid characters? This one takes the cake. Like, at least in Alien, they were the original Alien, they were competent characters, but like as the series has gone on, it's gotten worse and worse and worse. I mean, Prometheus, if you complained about some of the shit you complained about in Prometheus, about some of the choices the characters in that movie made, and forgive this movie, you're a fucking asshole. Okay, where do I start? The main plot of this movie is, seriously, within the first 30 minutes, this movie lost me. Seriously, it lost me in the first 30 minutes. Because the plot of this movie, if you've seen the trailer, you can get the gist of what the plot is. It's about a group of people on a spaceship that are being colonized onto a different planet, or trying to colonize onto a different planet. And they just happen, from what the trailers is, make it out to be, it just so happens that that planet is basically the breeding ground for the xenomorphs, basically. What the trailer doesn't tell you is that, okay, in the first 30 minutes, the movie opens and it's Michael Fassbender's character is on a spaceship by himself, like basically doing maintenance checks on the ship and everything else. And while he's doing maintenance checks, they hit like a sonic blast or something like that. And I don't know what it was, but he basically, when they hit it, this thing hits the ship, it basically causes all this malfunctions on the ship, including a lot of this hypersleep pods that these people were in opening in advance. And because of that, they still have like 7 years to go and everything else. And a lot of people actually end up dying too, which I'll get into that too. That's another thing. There's one part about that, and I'll get to that in a second, but I'll get back to that. And they are afraid to end up going back into their pods because, they all malfunctioned and everything else. People died. And they, Danny McBride's character goes out and basically goes to fix some things on the ship. And while he's out in space, he gets like a signal interference. And so he goes back inside, and in his helmet, he gets a signal interference. And he goes back inside, and they replay the signal interference, and they hear a John Denver song. I'm not joking, a John Denver song. That song that you hear in the fucking commercials, and I forget what it is. Somebody in the comments can tell me. And they find out that it's coming from a planet they've never heard of, they never knew of that existed before, that is closer to them than they are, than their destination, predetermined destination is. And because they don't want to be going to hypersleep anymore, they figure, all right, that seems habitable, only because it has a John Denver song is playing on it. I am not shitting. I kid you not. The only reason they figure out that this thing is fucking inhabitable is because there's a John Denver song playing on it. Are you getting that, all right? So, then they get on, then to make it even matters worse, that was where I fucking lost me. I was like, are you fucking serious? I mean, they established, I believe, that they've done enough research on this other planet to know that it's inhabitable. They don't know anything about this planet other than that a John Denver song is playing on it, and they just determined it's a fucking inhabitable planet. And to make matters fucking worse, when they go down to this planet, they just don't wear any spacesuits, don't wear any protection whatsoever. How the fuck do they know it's... this sounds like it's nitpicking, but seriously, like, that is fucking common sense. How do they know this is, and like, the air is fine, that they're not going to get any infections, which they do, anything. They don't know anything about this planet. They're on this planet for like less than 5 minutes, and they're like, oh, this is inhabitable. Just because it looks inhabitable doesn't mean it's inhabitable. And guess what? There's xenomorphs on it. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? And that's not the only... I could go into fucking details about a lot of shit. From characters trusting characters they should not be trusting whatsoever, beyond at any point they should be trusting anybody. Billy Crudup, this is kind of... I'm trying to avoid getting the spoilers. There's a part at the end of this movie, towards the end of this movie, where he's trusting a character in this film way beyond any point he should be trusting this character whatsoever, without getting the spoilers. And he knows this character's up to something and still believes him. And it ends up in that scene where, if you've seen the trailer, where the face hugger pops out. Yeah. That happens. And you're like, what the fuck? These characters are fucking retarded. I mean, there's so many characters in this movie that are fucking retarded. They're so stupid, and I wanted them all to die. This is why I was rooting for Michael Fassbender at pretty much through this movie, is because these characters were also just uninteresting. They're so interchangeable. The only character I remember is Danny McBride's character, because his name was Tennessee, and he was being played by Danny McBride. That's the only thing I remember. The only character I remember. Name me one character's name in this fucking film. I dare you. Honestly, the only character that is somewhat competent is the female lead. Somewhat. She's the only one who's questions about going onto this planet just because they're listening to a John Denver song coming off of it. She's the only one who questions it. No one else does. To which I was like, she's got a fucking point. Like, if it's like made no fucking sense. Man, there's so many things. I can't get into spoilers, but they fucking contradict themselves so many damn times. No. Alright. One other thing that has to be talked about. This was something I had no idea about until the movie happened. This happened in the movie. Okay. I don't know how... Alright. So remember how I was talking about how the ship malfunctions and then the pods open early and everything else? Well, that happens within the first 5 minutes. So when the pods malfunction, the main girl in this movie, her pod opens, and her husband is in one of his pods and is trapped in one of his pods. And we find out later, is the captain of the ship, and they cannot get to him in time, and basically the pod basically bursts into flames from the inside, and he gets engulfed in flames and basically dies, burns alive. And you're like, wow, that was fucked up. And what the hell? That was really random for just I was like, well, there must not really be an important character whatsoever. I guess it just didn't feel like that was an important character whatsoever. And then right after that, there's a scene where she's playing a video back of her and her husband rock mountain climbing. I'm going to give you one fucking guess who they casted as her husband. I'll give you a guess. Just if you don't know this already, there's some people that might not. Take a wild fucking guess who they casted. James Franco. What the fuck? Why in the world would you waste so much fucking money? I don't know how much money James Franco, they gave to him to, star in this movie. To only be in this movie for literally, I am not shitting you, less than 10 seconds. What the fuck? What was the fucking point of putting James Franco in this movie without even him being recognizable? He wasn't recognizable in the pod or whatever. It wasn't only until he popped up in that flashback to her watching a video of them rock mountain climbing did I realize that was supposed to be James Franco. Why? What was the fucking point of casting a big star like James Franco in a movie like this to only have him in this movie for less than 10 seconds? That was the stupidest thing I've seen in forever. And there's some I have a feeling like there's an extended edition with him more in this movie, but to the point that goes, well, still, what the fuck was the point of, if you're not going to have him featured in this movie, what is the point of having him in this movie at all? God damn. That was one of the stupidest things I've seen in a long time. This movie was terrible. The movie was like, this was a movie that the more I sat and thought about it was like, this movie's terrible. God damn. If I could... It's important to have competent characters at the end of the day. Because if you can't get into these... If they're not competent and they're not the most intelligent fucking characters, you cannot get behind them whatsoever. And I could not get behind any of these characters. And also, there was no fucking character development. No really fleshed out characters other than the android. and that really hurt too. God, I really wanted to love this. I really wanted to like this movie, but man, I couldn't. I really couldn't. Man, and this movie does have like a bleak, dark ending. Like I kept kind of comparing the ending to Life, which I guess they're gonna make a sequel to this. I've heard they were. I don't think this movie did very well, anyways. So I don't know if it will get a sequel, which I hope not. Honestly, it's sad. I who was it? Neil Blomkamp was originally supposed to make Alien 5 or something like that with Sigourney Weaver. I'd rather see that than this shit, honestly. I'd rather see Sigourney Weaver any day than any of this shit anymore. This prequel stuff just kind of failed. Dude, really, I don't care about the origins of the Xenomorphs. Am I the only one? I didn't really need a prequel to the original Alien film. Didn't really need it. I don't know really who asked for it. I know I might be the only one, but that's just me. It's I've heard people bitch about it messing up the mythology of the Alien franchise. I'm not going to complain about that, but so I'm not that diehard of a Alien fan that like I notice things they fuck up. No, but still, this movie sucks. I wish I recommended this movie more, but I mean, I guess check it out on rental. Maybe it's not. It won't be my worst film of the year. Case for Christ was worse than this, hands down. But go spend money on something else. Maybe watch this on Netflix or something when it comes out on there, but that's about it. I'll be back here shortly with my review for the other movie I saw.